been asked to modify this guardianship. May I have the names of our participants, please? Let's start with our online participants.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ariel Berger here as the guardian ad litem for Ruben Torres.
And then under Rafael Duran, if you could introduce yourselves, please.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah,
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Rafael Duran.
Okay, well, I'm not sure that that's the right case.
Yes, he is the stepfather guardian.
Current guardian. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Michael McFarland, I am the CAA for Ruben, who is more comfortable sitting back here, Your Honor.
Okay.
And the petitioner to my left, your name?
I'm Beverly Canales.
Welcome. All right, Ms. McFarland. Well, actually, we've got Ms. Berger's our GAL on this one. Would you like to start?
Sure, Your Honor. Thank you. I was able to meet with Ruben and the petitioner, and I was also able to speak with the current guardian for a brief period. Currently, Ruben is residing with a family friend, Beverly, and her husband. They are currently, or she is currently, the standby guardian, but she's not able to be the full guardian of Ruben. He has been living with her since June of 2024, and they have not received financial support from the current guardian, who is collecting monies from Social Security and I believe from a trust that Ruben is a beneficiary of. So that is a concern of mine, and I know Mr. McFarland's as well. Beverly and Ruben, she has Ruben lined up to be placed with the Coleman Foundation. But we need to figure out the financial aspect to see if he qualifies for that, or, what he's supposed to be taking under the trust, things like that, to see if he's able to go there. If he does go there, he's able to continue attending the Hope Center and the Goodwill programs that the petitioner has set up for him. He goes to those a couple of days a week. I think he's out of the house, I think 3 or 4 days a week for those programs. And he enjoys going, and he likes them, and they're good for him. For quite some time, the current guardian refused to consent to placement at the Coleman Foundation. I think it took several weeks for Beverly to get that approved. And he's been with them for quite some time, and they weren't really ready for that or prepared for that, or have any financial assistance that comes along with it. So that is a concern of mine as well, that the current guardian was not really able or was refusing to find proper care for his ward. There, like I mentioned before, there is a trust where Ruben is named as the beneficiary. And there is a provision in there about life insurance. I didn't take a super close look, but I think it says that no one is to take out a life insurance policy on Ruben. I'm not sure if that's enforceable under the trust, but it does seem that the current guardian does have a life insurance policy that he did take out on Ruben. So that is kind of a concern as well, if we're not really adhering to the guidelines in that trust. I believe the successor trustee is Mark Brueggemann, who drafted the trust. So I'm not sure if we will eventually need him to step in and kind of help suss out those discrepancies there. In addition, the current guardian hasn't been calling or asking to see Ruben. The petitioner did take Ruben to see him a couple of times, but and to the home as well, where he was living with his stepfather. But he didn't seem to react positively to those. So they haven't been able to, and haven't done that recently because no one's asking for it, and Ruben didn't seem to react positively to it. So they had some concerns for the current, his ability to care for Ruben in the home. When speaking with the current guardian, was concerned with his capacity to care for himself. But after speaking with Mr. McFarland, and he spoke with APS, it seems that sometimes that is maybe like a front put on, just kind of like playing dumb to get through the conversation. So that is a concern. We either have capacity issues or we don't, but either way, there are things that are not being taken care of. There are bank accounts that Ruben should have access to. He has a checkbook that is missing or We don't know where it is. It could be in Florida. It could be at the nursing home with his current guardian. So I don't think that the current guardian is able to continue. And he also reported himself that he can't take care of himself or Ruben at this time and would agree to a temporary change. And I don't know if that's something that we can do as a temporary change, but I do think it's in Ruben's best interest for the petition to be granted at this point. That way we can get him in a more permanent or stable living situation. Thank you.
Was there anyone you wanted me to hear from today specifically?
Not other than the petitioner, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland, any comments?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is nonverbal. I have received a copy just today of the Delia Duran Trust, and that would be Ruben's mother. It appears to be a spendthrift discretionary trust where Raphael, the guardian, receives $500 a month for himself, and he has the absolute discretion for paying funds for Ruben, but not to support him, but for extraordinary vacations and things like that. I do have a copy of a policy of life insurance, Ruben Torres, and which appears to be the beneficiary is the trustee, which is Raphael. And I do see a limitation of powers that there's no trustee may exercise any incident of ownership alone or with others over any policy of insurance on his or her life. A little vaguely drafted, I'm presuming the his or her life may reflect that of my client. Once again, it's not really, yes, don't know how to interpret that really. I do know though that there is I did receive a call from Ms. Off, who is doing a investigation. Ms. Off from Adult Protective Services, Your Honor.
Do you know how to spell that?
Is it Melissa Off?
AULD.
Oh, sorry.
Thank
you. Yeah, no, it's not Off, it's all, Melissa Off.
Right.
And she's investigating Social Security pay issue on that and the trust issue. My understanding, though, is I believe Mr. Duran be willing and is not capable in his mind of exercising the guardianship right now. So, especially with an active investigation, I can only say I think it'd be the best right now to at least have it transferred to somebody not under investigation, and not in either rehab or a nursing home. I'm not sure what capacity is there.
All right, was there anyone that you wanted me to hear from today?
Raphael Duran, Your Honor.
All right,
And also the petitioner, but the guardian life is going to call.
very good. All right, we'll let you go first. Deputy, introduce for Mr. Raphael Duran. He's joining us by Zoom.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, hang on.
Mr. Durant, can you raise your right hand, please, sir? You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Mr. Duran, I'm the attorney for your son. You are his payee for Social Security, correct?
right.
How much does he receive per month?
My name is John Richardson. I'm the social worker here. If you guys have no problem with, I'll try to bring it closer so we can hear better, but I got it up as high as I can. I just want to
I
make
will
sure.
speak louder. I will
Okay.
speak louder and slower.
Okay,
Mr. Duran,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Can you
Yes,
hear
I
me?
hear.
How much money do you receive in Social Security benefits on behalf of your stepson?
How much I get a month or what?
Yes.
I get I get $1,400 for Rubens a month. And
Okay.
I pay for, when he was living with me, I paid $600 rent. And then that goes for the food and outing and all the stuff he needs.
So now that he's been living with the current successor guardian since June, right?
Your Honor, can I say what Mr. McFarland is saying to him, or how do you want this handled?
What,
Any
what,
objections?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
Mr. Richardson.
Thank you. What Mr. McFarland's asking, now that Ruben is living with the successor,
yeah, go ahead.
How much have you paid
okay, how much have you
Ruben's
paid this?
Right
successor?
now, I've been paying about, oh, 24,000 already.
How much have you been paying the successor since Ruben's been with the guardian?
Oh,
The successor.
about 2,400.
Okay, so he's been there June, July, August. That's 3 times $1,600 and you've only paid 2,400?
No, I only gave him one time that amount, cause at the time when they come, I just got out of surgery on my leg. So I couldn't do no more.
How much is it true you only paid him $500?
How much have you paid them? The individuals that's taking care of Ruben now, how much have you paid them since you've been in the hospital?
Right now, I haven't paid them anything right now, but
Why not?
Cause they gotta make a report to Don for the amount they spend. And I gotta make
Are
a
you-
report too, what I spent from June to June. 24 and 23.
Are you okay with resigning as guardian for Ruben?
Are you okay in resigning your guardianship of Ruben?
Well, if I have to, I will, but the thing is, I can get a home for him in Hudson.
What have you done since June to get a home for him in Hudson?
What have you done since June to get him a place in Hudson?
Well, I talked to Valerie Baker and she supposed to set up a meeting with them so we can get transferred over there until I get out.
When was this that you talked to Miss Baker?
When did you talk to Miss Baker?
I talked to her about, back in June. The same day I was I came home at the Woodward Manor and I talked to them about that to set it up.
You're at Linwood Manor, correct?
You're at Linwood Manor, correct?
Yes, I'm living with Manor right now because I have to have therapy on my leg.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Questions, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anyone else do what
Defer to Ms. Berger, who's going to call the petitioner, Your Honor.
All right, so, Ms. Berger, are you ready to call a witness, and would you confirm who you'd like to hear from? Oh, you're muted. I didn't get your answer.
Sorry. Yes, I would like to hear from Miss Beverly Canales.
Right. You may stay right where you are, Deputy Ames.
Remain seated, raise your right hand, please. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Hi, Beverly. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, perfect. So you have been taking care of Ruben's for a couple of months, is that correct?
Correct. Since June 14th.
Okay, and that's of this year?
Yes.
Okay. And how did he come to be in your care?
Ray called me up from Toledo Hospital and asked me to come get him. I've been taking care of Ruben for about 30 years. I am a standby guardian. And so he said that he was having heart troubles and they were going to check his heart out. So my husband and I went and got him in Toledo, Ohio.
Okay. And was that supposed to be like a long-term plan or a short-term plan?
My understanding was that they were going to check out his heart and maybe have open heart surgery and then he would go home. So we figured maybe a couple of weeks or 3.
Okay. And since then, he hasn't been able, Mr. Duran has not been able to return home, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there is a home in Hudson, I believe, right?
The Coleman Foundation or Ruben's home?
Ruben's home,
Ruben's home is in Tecumseh at Alamo Court. Yes.
Tecumseh. Okay. And do you know if that is Ruben's or if that's Mr. Duran's or whose house actually is that?
The way I understand it, it is Ruben's home through the Delia Duran Trust.
Okay. And is that trust funding the mortgage or anything like that?
The house is paid in full. The way I understand the trust, though, that it pays for the taxes on the home and the electric and the gas to the home and any upkeep to the home that is needed.
Got it. Okay. And one of your concerns or one of your wishes, I guess, would be that Ruben be permitted to live at the Coleman Foundation. Is that right?
Yes, that is my main concern, that he gets there.
Okay.
They have accepted him.
Okay, perfect. So I was going to ask that next. Was it difficult or easy to get him accepted there?
The difficult part was getting Mr. Duran to sign the papers. I took his social worker with me to Toledo Hospital to do that. And also Valerie Barker had an influence on that. And once we got him to sign the papers that allowed the Coleman Foundation, then we had a meet and greet at the Coleman Foundation. And then Ruben just spent last weekend for 4 days and 3 nights at the Coleman Foundation. And they loved him. And of course, he was happy to see us, but he liked it there. He goes to school or to the Hope program and Goodwill program with some of the clients of the Coleman Foundation.
Okay, so he already knows some of his peers there then.
Correct, yes.
Good. Okay. When Ruben came to stay with you on the 14th, did you have any concerns for his medical care?
I did. I was told that he was sick and to give him nighttime NyQuil day and night by Mr. Duran, and I said I wasn't going to do that. And he is not sick anymore. And Mr. Duran had stated that Ruben blows up the toilet and I would need diapers, adult diapers for him and stuff. I purchased adult diapers. Not once has Ruben done that in our care, and he's been fine. My concern was in the home. The home itself was infested with mice, and I did go in and clean the home on my own because I thought that Ruben would go back there with Mr. Duran, not sure. So I just cleaned the home, and I was asked by Mr. Duran to get his paperwork and his mail so that he could write checks. And I did that for him at the same time.
And has Ruben been back to that home in Tecumseh?
He, for the first couple of weeks, we took him because he likes to take baths, but it seemed like the 3rd week we went, he refused to get out of the car. He didn't want to go into the home anymore. And still today, when I go by there or something, he does not want to get out of the car.
Okay. And have you received any other types of support or aids or anything like that from the current guardian to help care for Ruben?
I have a record and a check number that Valerie Barker, his caseworker, told me to ask Mr. Duran for $600 for July rent and $300 for half of June rent. Mr. Duran did pay that. And then he also paid $950.39 for expenses from 6/15 to 7/9/24. And then
And
when I
since
asked,
have you received anything? Oh, okay. So since then, have you received anything?
no, not from Mr. Duran. No.
Okay. So at the beginning, it seemed like you were getting some support for him, but not recently.
Correct.
Okay. What about a vehicle? Does Ruben have a vehicle titled in his name?
He does not have a vehicle titled in his name. The handicap sticker or the handicap tags are on both vehicles that Mr. Duran told me he bought for Ruben, and that the Delia Duran Trust was paying him back the amount of money that he was paying for each vehicle. So he is letting us use the truck, but he tried to take the truck recently from us. And he sent his nephew to try to take the truck. And my husband just said, if you want to take Ruben to his programs every day at 8 and pick him up at 2, we'll give back the truck. And his nephew, Jehu Gomez, said, well, no, I can't do that. I work. And we said, well, my husband works too, and we need a vehicle for Ruben. And it would have caused extra burden on us not to have that vehicle. So Mr. Duran has not came and got his vehicle or sent anybody since then.
Okay.
And
And
that's
that's,
about a month ago.
okay. And that's what you use to kind of bring Ruben places?
Yes, because he is a handicapped individual.
Got it. Okay. And has there been any visits between Ruben and Mr. Duran?
There were at first, we would take him up to see him. Then I'm not sure of the dates or anything, but Ruben just would go in and he would go in the bathroom and then he would come out and he would want to leave. He did not want to stay in the room.
And does Mr. Duran call to schedule visits or phone calls or anything like that?
No, the last time I took Ruben to see Mr. Duran, Mr. Duran stated, I asked him, I says, why haven't you called your son? And he said, because he's too sick to call his son. But I do have friends that Mr. Duran has been calling.
Got it. Okay. And Ruben is nonverbal, right?
He's what?
Nonverbal.
Um,
And is he able to kind of have phone communication or listen to someone on the phone?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
does that seem to be a positive interaction for him?
No, he pushes
Okay,
it away.
got it. So quick phone calls.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share with the court today?
Only that I would really like Ruben to go to the Coleman Foundation. We worked hard to get him there and they want to, and I wish that I could do it the rest of my life, but I can't.
I don't have any other questions for you, but the other attorney might, okay? Thank you.
Just briefly, could you just tell us briefly why you no longer wish to be standby guardian?
I'm approaching 70. My husband is semi-retired. We have a 40-year-old daughter that we want to spend more time with. We just are not equipped to have him in our lives at this time. We love him, but to care for him is a lot of work. And we've tried really hard.
So if this court, I don't know what the court's gonna do, but if they accept your resignation, you can't go live with his father at Linwood, correct?
Correct.
Where would he go if the court were to allow you to resign today? Stay with you or what?
I don't know that. I don't know how long it would take to get him into the Coleman Foundation. I'm willing for maybe a couple of more weeks or a month.
Okay.
You know, as long as I could get a guarantee that he would be in the Coleman Foundation.
Okay. And lastly, the condition that Ruben was living in with his father, would you say that that was not a good living environment? It was.
Yes, yes. I found my stockings on the table where Ruben ate. There was a contraption to catch mice right where Ruben was sitting and eating. I cleaned everything. I did the laundry. I cleaned up everything. So Mr. Duran has.
Matter of fact, Melissa Auld
I have pictures.
was actively investigating the appropriateness of that household before Ruben came to live with you, correct?
As far as I know, she was.
Thank
She was trying to. Mr. Duran would not answer her calls.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. McFarland, anyone else you'd like us to hear from?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Just closing remarks.
Got Ms. Well, why don't you go first? Because we usually end with the GA.
Yes, Your Honor. I think that the conditions in which my client was living with the principal guardian were not suitable. heard the mice conditions, the unsanitariness. And he's also not going to be able to live right now with his father, who's at Linwood Manor. We also have some concerns regarding Social Security payments. We need to have somebody else to pay, and I think we need to get a guardianship who's capable of doing that. I know Ms. Foote has been vetted by this court. I think she'd be capable of doing that. Standby guardian. Thank her for her service, and we understand that the reasons she's given seem to be appropriate. So I can only advocate what I think is in the best interest of my client, because he's nonverbal, Your Honor. So I would ask the petition to be granted, that this court find the primary guardian also not acceptable based upon the testimony, and remove him, Your Honor, and then have a new primary guardian in that of Ms. Foote.
Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. I am in support of the petition to modify. And I don't know that it would need to be a permanent change if Mr. Duran is able to get out of the assisted living facility or the nursing facility, return home, and is able to care for himself first, and then, he can petition the court to have it changed back. But at this point, I think it is appropriate for Ruben to be able to live in a facility or a community that is best for him, that can support his needs, his physical and mental well-being, and continue to allow him to interact with his peers and go to his programs and to school and do the things that he enjoys doing. So at this point, I am in support of the petition, and having the guardian be a public guardian, or I think they have Barb Foote named in the petition.
Well, the court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's hearing. I do find that Ruben remains in need of a guardian. I made that decision based on my own observations, as well as my review of the file and those diagnoses, which are not likely to change, do not appear to have changed. And so Ruben continues to need a guardian, and then the question becomes, is the current guardian able to continue to perform? From what I've heard today, first of all, he's obviously coming to us from a nursing home. He's recuperating from some health issues that he has. And although asking for the standby guardian to step in was good, but he also needed to continue to send along the supports necessary for them to cooperate with assembling a plan that would allow Ruben to be successful and have his needs met. And I don't find that he was doing that. I have concerns as well about the amount of money still that needs to be turned over to provide for the care of Mr. Ruben Torres. Not that Mr. Rafael Duran didn't do it when he was asked, but frankly, you shouldn't have to be asked. You should be the one inquiring on what Ruben's needs are and how and when to help the standby guardian meet those needs. So I do find it's appropriate to remove Rafael Duran at this time as plenary guardian, to allow the standby guardian to step down for all the reasons that she shared with us today, and to appoint Barb Foote as a successor plenary guardian. And again, I agree with Ms. Berger as well, that in the event that Mr. Rafael Duran is able or willing to show the court that he can be suitable in order to perform his obligations and duties, that he could petition the court. But again, I will review everything that I've heard. The concerns here are also more about more than just the money as well. It's very concerning to hear that Ruben was living and eating in the same place where he would have a mouse trap, and that it took considerable effort to clean up the environment where he was living in at the time. But perhaps that was affected by Mr. Rafael Duran's health issues, but nevertheless, my job is to make sure that Ruben is taken care of. We've got two excellent attorneys also in support of this change with the same concerns, and for all those reasons, I do find that at this time, Rafael Duran is not suitable to perform his obligations as guardian. The orders will reflect the same, mainly just that he's been removed. Ms. Canales is allowed to resign, and Barb Foote is appointed the successor plenary guardian over the person and the estate of Ruben Joseph Torres moving forward. Good luck to you. Thank you so much for your time and for bringing Ruben in today to see us. I love that hat. Usually we make you take him off, but that's a great hat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone for coming. That's all for today.
Thank you.